Hey, it's Mike, your host of Craft Beer Storm. How are you doing today? I'm also founder, owner, brewer at Beara Brewing Co in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And today we are going to get technical. We're going to talk about BeerYou. It's a new app that's out there that allows you to send beers to your friends. How awesome is that? And we got Tom Middlen on, the CEO of the company. And he explains what the app's about and how it can help you. So here we go. And we are here with Tom Middlen. He is the CEO of BeerYou. How are you doing, Tom?
Doing really good. Good to be with you, Michael.
Yeah, I'm glad that you could take some time out to talk about BeerYou. Maybe you can go, start off with maybe your history and then BeerYou, where it's at, where you guys are going. Start with that.
Yeah, happy to do it. So great to be on your show. Our organization might be a little different from organizations that you typically have on because we are not brewing any beer. We just love craft brew beer. And what we have done is we've taken our background here in Silicon Valley in technology and applied that passion with our other passion, which is the craft brew and sharing beer with a friend and family and by ourselves and bringing those two together. The story goes back longer than I would like to admit. I am a veteran in Silicon Valley, well over a decade, over 2 decades now. And I've always been in software sales. So my work has had me traveling all throughout the country and internationally as well to Europe and Asia. And I think the origination of the idea, or when the light bulb went off to me, is when I was off in a far-off land, finishing off a massive proposal for a really big company, and I had a bunch of my colleagues here in Silicon Valley helping me out live while I was literally, I think, 11 or 12 time zones away, and we were joking about the fact that I need to buy them a beer for all the help that they were giving me at the last second on the proposal. And that's when it really sparked me that we don't have the ability to share the beer regardless of what beer it is, regardless of the quality, unless someone is in the same establishment you're in. And so for years and years and years, I was hoping that someone would apply technology to that problem and solve it. And no one did. And so I got together with some friends of mine who are great doers and have different backgrounds, and we all came together and we put together an app which allows anyone to send a beer to anyone anywhere immediately. So that's our motto. There are obviously limitations. We cannot teleport a physical beer to someone. So what we've done is we've come up with our own proprietary algorithms which show up at your friend's mobile device as a code, and then they show their bartender, they show their server, they show them that code, and then they're able to redeem that for a beer wherever they are. So it's the next best thing to teleporting a beer, but it's what we've been working on for over 2 years, and we're at a point now where it literally can be redeemed worldwide. We've had redemptions in the Middle East, Europe, Asia, and all throughout the U.S. And we're growing like crazy now, even though we haven't even really done any kind of advertising. Everything has been organic. Everything's been viral right now, and we're just starting to do our first advertising. So we're real excited about being able to share our passion for beer, for good craft beer, with anyone, anywhere. So that's what BeerYou is all about.
So I just need some clarification because it's interesting that you could send a beer to anyone, anywhere immediately. Do you send, I guess you send the capability of buying a beer locally to somebody? Is that what it is? It's like kind of
You
like
got
a
it.
coupon, right? So they can
Yep.
go,
Yep.
this coupon's worth $7 towards a pint, or maybe there's a credit card involved or something like that. And when it gets charged, it goes onto your credit card, or how does that work?
Exactly. So,
Okay.
great question. And so we've tried many different ways of pulling this off, and we are in the we're in the stage what we call BeerYou 1.0, and BeerYou 1.0 is the ability to use BeerYou beer codes at any of 20,000 plus locations. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that we have prearranged, we prearranged these codes with certain bars and restaurants, and the redemption needs to take place at one of those locations.
Okay.
So what it is it's been pre-purchased with that company, with that bar, with that restaurant, and it shows up as a digital code that the server just enters into the system as a form of payment. And whether you send them one beer, 6 beers, or we're going to be adding other levels, other menu items, so you can. We want to kind of limit it to about 5 different options. And, so you can buy multiple quantities of these different levels of beer, and then they can redeem it for that predetermined amount at that location. But that's BeerYou 1.0 right now. BeerYou 2.0, which we're going to reach at the end of this year, is going to be true ubiquity. So any establishment that has a digital POS system, any kind of digital cash register, is going to be able to redeem our beer code. So you can literally take it to any mom and pop place anywhere and redeem it for a beer.
Okay. So how did you connect with these restaurants? I mean, are they big chains or is it a mix or?
Yeah, that's what. So this model has not been successful on any scalable level. It's been minimally successful on just a local level, where someone will go out and sign up a handful of bars locally and just have them be kind of a part of the beer club, where they can use the coupon, so to speak. So what we needed to do is to take it to a much larger level. To do that, to get the biggest footprint, to get the biggest bang for our buck, as a startup like we are, what we decided that we were going to do is go after some large chains that were going to give us a big footprint, and then we could start penetrating other areas more finitely after that. So even though these aren't necessarily thought of as places you go drinking with your best beer buddies. Our redemption locations include things like Chili's and Applebee's, because they give us a really big footprint, and they allow you to send that gift to anyone, even if they have a good brew pub in their neighborhood, or if they just have one Applebee's in town, which is many times the case. But we also are partnered with some national, beer specific chains like BJ's Brew Houses, Miller's Ale Houses, Gordon Biersch, organizations like that that have a specific focus on the craft brew side of things. But that's who we're partnered with at this point. Within about 9 months or so, we're going to be beyond that and able to be redeemed anywhere. So.
Yeah, I see on you sent me a deck, and I see, Fridays, Outback, Chili's, Applebee's, Yard House. Yard House is good.
Yeah,
Yard House has a lot of good beer.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So,
and all these, like I would, I go to these things, like if I go with my kids or whatever, or, if we go out Cheesecake Factory is pretty good, So you have the capability of buying a beer. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have a small family, and now I'm, usually have my son in tow, who's nowhere close to being 21 years old. So yeah, that's where I do a lot of my beer drinking these days are, at those establishments. But we are expanding. I mean, my focus, my passion is our brew pubs. And so when I was doing all of this traveling on business, I actually had probably one of the very, very first national craft brewing guides. So brew pubs and tap houses. There was a guide that, it had no more than a couple hundred. This is back in the 90s in the guide. And so that was the sole thing that I enjoyed about traveling on business nonstop, was that I would have this guide with me, and I would always make time to see at least one local craft brewer as I was in and out of town regardless of where I was. So that's ultimately where I want this to be. That's what's gotten me to this point with BeerYou, and we're going to be at that true ubiquity stage, with a true fit with kind of localized craft brewing within about 9 months.
So yeah, it makes sense to start with the biggest restaurant chains because it gets you out there, right? And then from there you can scale, locally. I guess you send salespeople out, try to get some local breweries, but it brings people into local establishments as well, which
you
is
got
great,
it. And here locally in the Bay Area in Silicon Valley, one of our core team members is a hockey legend here locally. His name's Owen Nolan. He played many years with the San Jose Sharks. In fact, I know that your Bruins are playing tonight, and I thought the hockey season ended 2 weeks ago when my Sharks lost to the Blues. So that was a surprise to me. No, so Owen is a legend. He's really a big craft beer fan. He actually owns a local chain of sports bars and restaurants. Okay. And so we use his chain of sports bars and restaurants to test market things. So ultimately, that's the big picture of where we want to go. We want to have a ton of these individual bars, restaurants, brew pubs that are using us. The time that we actually spend, quote unquote, working, our favorite times are when we're at one of Owen Nolan's pubs, doing marketing, doing use cases and trying different marketing tactics and talking to the actual users, that are belly up at the bar, and it's just a lot of fun. That's where we ultimately want to be.
Yeah, and I see you have another slide on your team, and I was going to ask about the hockey player, like the professional hockey player, but now I understand because he has a chain of the.
Owen's great. Yeah, Owen's great. That's so. He's a local legend here. Whenever we're out with him, one of the big benefits are he's so much of a local legend that when we're with him, we never have to pay for a beer, no matter what bar we're at, whether it's his or not. So I think that's the main reason we brought Owen on, is for that occasional free beer.
I got to get to know Owen. But he's out in Cal. All you guys are out in. Now you're located in the San Francisco area, or?
Yeah, we're just south of San Francisco. Mm-hmm. This is where our core team is. We do have two of our core team back in the Washington D.C. area. We have one in New York City, but we're really, particularly from the developers standpoint, we are based here in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, I'm originally from New York, so I know the Bruins are playing, but I mean, I'll go see it. I'm going out tonight to go see it because it's Game 7. It should be crazy, but
that's cool.
We'll see what happens. And when this comes out, there'll be a decision, I guess.
So a little known trivia fact that I I'm not sure if I'm going to get this right, but Owen Nolan was actually he was in a mainstream massive release movie for like 2 seconds because it was some movie well over a decade ago that they were filming at a Rangers game, and they were actually doing live shots of the Rangers game, and Owen and the Sharks were playing the Rangers at that point.
Oh, no
so
kidding.
that's his brush with Hollywood there.
That's cool.
So a New York connection there.
Wow. No, a professional hockey player. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Anything professional is fantastic. But yeah, I mean, yeah, and I see all the other individuals. They have a lot of experience. EVP at Disney and Discovery, and lobbyists for Sam Adams and Anheuser-Busch and Bev. You have some individuals there that have that experience too.
Yeah, it's a great diverse team. I specifically set out to get people with diverse business backgrounds, but every one of us has the passion for craft beer and for this type of lifestyle. And ultimately what we want to be doing business wise is, traveling to great beer festivals, professionally, and getting paid for it, and spreading the word about BeerYou. So.
Yeah. And there's, it's an easy way, I guess, to give somebody a gift. It kind of reminds me of kind of a Groupon, right?
Yep.
And I think it accomplishes the same thing. And you have you scan it or you tap redeem. Well, I have Groupons for me, and they show me their phone. I just tap redeem, and it goes away on their phone. But
yeah,
this is kind of a scan. Yeah,
that's the number 2 motivation for me. Actually, is at first the idea first came about with being able to buy my colleagues in different areas, to buy them a beer, a thank you beer, a celebration beer, those type of things. But the other thing is buying a gift for my dad, who is about 1,000 miles away from me, and we are bad at buying gifts, and we love sharing a good beer together. And so that is the very high on the list. Another reason why I developed BeerYou is for guys, for anyone, but the traditional guys who don't give gifts very well, particularly to each other, to be able to send that immediate gift, whether it's betting on a hockey game, the winner sending the beer immediately via BeerYou, or literally for a birthday gift or something like that.
Right. And it's having a beer together, but you're far apart. So
you got it. Yep.
There you go. And then you can take pictures of you drinking a beer, and then he can.
You got it. Yeah, and messaging. We have some really fun messaging within the app. So
you build that into the app. You can message each other back and forth.
Yeah, you can message each other, and for big sporting events, we get some pretty lively communication going on with people betting each other beers and sending beers back and forth and things. So it can be fun. We're also big sports fans too as a group. So we're selfishly focusing on beer and sports and things like that. So we can enjoy what we're doing professionally here.
Well, that's great. And now, how far along? Because you have a very aggressive. I look at your projections here, your financials. I'm a CPA too. I'm an auditor, so that's what I do.
Oh, great.
But this is my passion: brewing beer, right? So I'm talking about beer, so I understand. I understand where you're coming from.
Good choice.
I know. When I go in, I say I'm the auditor. They're like, "All right, when you leaving?" I'm like, "What do you mean? I just got here." When I say, "Yeah, I have a brewery," they're like, "Hey, how you doing?"
That's cool.
You got to bring some samples in. I'm like, oh my God. But you have very aggressive projections here. Like this year, I think it's 125,000, and then by 2023, you have like 90 million. You're expecting this thing to take off.
Yeah, those are upside projections. The numbers support those sort of things. We don't we're going to be a much bigger company at that point, but we're really enjoying the stage that we're at right now, and there's the numbers support some really big growth, and there's data out there from a couple different categories. One your audience is very familiar with, and the beer category, the craft beer category, even though things are not stagnant. They're still growing, but there's a lot of there's a lot of opportunity out there that's I don't think is being addressed very well with millennials and even Gen Z. Some Gen Zs are reaching drinking age now, and just a lot of potential there that's not being addressed, and a lot of unrealized growth potential in that group. And not only just someone who enjoys beer themselves, but just for gifting each other, just for even, a mother or a grandmother, buying a beer for their son who's graduating college, or their daughter who got their first job or something like that. It's just a very easy thing to be able to send that gift immediately. So it combines both the beer side of things, but also the mobile gifting. Mobile gifting is growing very, very quickly, and we're at the intersection of those things.
That's so interesting how your phone is just everything now. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I was thinking about that even today. You go. So I think that it's a huge opportunity for craft brewers to really gain the millennial crowd. And anytime you go to even a small craft brewer or a small brew pub, everyone is staring down at their phone. Everyone is staring at their phone. And, and even if they lift their head for a second to talk to who they're with or to talk to their bartender, they're looking down again. And typically, what they're doing is communicating with someone else, or, researching the beer, or looking at sports or something along those lines. And that's what that's exactly what we're focused on, are the people who are addicted to their phones like that, and sending a gift to anyone who typically has their phone with them when they're out and about.
Now, this, not only the U.S., but this could be used. I mean, you can scale this up, like do worldwide. Because I'm looking at these numbers here, and I'm looking at like 2 million, like it's almost 3 million, but that's only 1% of our population. I don't know how many are in the States. Is it 300 million?
Yeah, I think we're over 300 million now.
So that's just only 1% of that population. So these numbers, and people like beer, right? It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and this is an excellent way for somebody to give a gift. And it's an easy way, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so what's interesting, and because everything has been viral for us so far, because we haven't been doing any marketing, is how many users, how many downloads, how many users we've been getting in countries that we absolutely did not expect. So, so India is obviously India has a huge population, but we have had no focus on India whatsoever, and we just had a ton of downloads there. Europe, we've been really strong in, and it's very true. It doesn't, once it becomes a digital code or a beer code that we are calling our own code, it can go anywhere, right? So I know that we've been redeemed a lot in Asia and Europe in addition to the U.S. So it really is something that's universal.
Because these chains, I mean, they have stuff outside of the U.S., I would suppose, right?
Yep, and that's our main limitation right now to doing business internationally. One, we want to master our own market. We want to master the U.S. really before we go focus on other areas. But yeah, the redemptions that have been done internationally are typically just done, at the Hard Rock Cafe or at the Chili's. I think, London probably has 3 Chili's across the entire city. And that's where a couple of our redemptions have been.
There's a lot of people in London. Yeah. I used to live right outside of London. It's a big city, a lot of great beer.
Yeah, I love that. I love the ales they have there.
Awesome. But it seems very interesting, and I understand about the phones. I mean, that's why I started the podcast. I think everybody's trending towards information on demand. They really don't want to sit through a whole show and pick up. Hopefully, they talk about what they're interested in. People go straight to their phone.
Exactly.
Pull the information, immediately, pretty much. Go to Google or whatever.
And you see it even with a group of guys. I took a picture. We were on vacation in Italy a couple months ago. And I took a picture. There was this great sidewalk restaurant, or is it actually an alley restaurant? Just really popular, perfectly Italian. Really immersed in the local culture. And there was a table of like 6 guys sitting there, and every single guy was staring at their phone. It's like they're in the most culturally rich location to be having dinner together, and they're not even talking to each other. They're not looking around. They're looking at their phones. So yeah, it's here to stay. It's pervasive, and I think that it's going to be a big boon to the craft brewers who can really find a way to leverage that market. And also for the big brewers. I mean, they're some of the ones who have been talking to us as well, and they have no clue on how to stay in touch with millennials and that sort of thing. And so I think that's a huge opportunity to all sizes and levels of brewers. And getting creative and finding ways of doing it mobily is a big avenue to do that.
Now, say you send somebody a beer, does it have a dollar value? Like, can they spend up to a certain amount, or they can buy any type of beer? Like, if I'm in a restaurant, I can buy like a Coors Light that would be like $4, or I can buy like a barrel aged whatever, and that would be like $12. Like, how does that work?
Okay, so great question. And what we've done right now is we've gone at national averages. Okay, so what we are doing is doing average costs for that category of beer. So the limitations that really just reality sets on us is we can't have someone in Boston send a beer to someone in Los Angeles and say, at 5:00, I'm buying you a Chimay, at XYZ bar. Now, there's so many different variations to making that happen. Do they have happy hour deals at that time? What size of Chimay? Is it a Chimay on tap? Is it a Chimay in a bottle? So there's just so many variables that are uncontrollable. What we've concluded is the best way to do that is to go off national averages. And we are sending that category's price average as the amount of that beer redemption value.
Okay, so like if it's, if you send, say for an IPA, you say it's $7 for an IPA, and then the person, he buys an IPA, but it's maybe like $8. So the extra $1 that individual has to pay for, I would suppose, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
You got it. So, yeah, and that's in the small print in our app, but, the fun, the excitement about this is sharing the beer, sharing the buzz, right? And so we don't get people bogged down in the minute, legalese. We want people to share that beer, to buy that credit. And so the sender all the sender is doing is deciding what category of beer and how many of those beers they want to send to that person, and then just sending them a fun message along with that. The recipient is the one who decides where they want to use it, how they want to use it, and it's essentially like a gift card. Yeah.
No, it's interesting. Originally, I thought it was like, all right, send a beer to anyone, anywhere, immediately, like it was a physical beer.
Yep.
I'm like, how is this guy doing this? There's like 50 states, and all of them are wacky. They have all these crazy laws. And then logistically, how do you send somebody a beer? But it's actually buying somebody a beer. And then you explain the whole thing, so it makes a lot more sense to me. I was just confused. I was like, how is he doing this?
Hey, as soon as we can teleport beer, I'm going to be the first one in line. So hopefully it'll happen here in Silicon Valley, so I can be there when it happens. But yeah, it doesn't. Can't do it yet. So this is the next best way of sharing that beer, sharing that gift, or sharing the buzz. I mean, so many people are texting each other from one bar to another, buddies from college, two people graduated from college, from an Ivy League school or something, in New Hampshire, Dartmouth. And one of them lives in Miami, and one of them lives in Seattle, and they still stay in touch with each other, and they still drink beers, and they talk trash to each other over sports. And this is the way that they can do it live with each other.
That's cool. It's a way to bond, I guess, right? Or stay in touch.
Yep. Keep the bond. Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you're the males, I guess, are the ones you're targeting. Yeah, but I mean, females, everybody drinks beer, I guess, right?
Yeah, everyone drinks beer. It is a big target market for us are women buying for a man. So, buying a guy a beer.
I can verify that. Like, our Groupon sales is like 80% purchased by women, and they buy them for their man.
Yeah,
because they say he would like this, so let me do this for him, and then they take him.
It's the easy gift. Yeah. They know they're going to enjoy it. Yeah. So, yep.
So, then you have some competitors too, but their products are
they're localized. Yeah. So the folks who have had limited success have been very locally. One in San Francisco, one down in South Florida, and literally it's just in most cases it's no more than a dozen bars that they have signed up. Yeah. So we're taking that concept and we're taking it to an international level.
You're blowing it out, yeah. And you have connections with the big chains, which right there you have a big footprint, and it makes sense. Yeah.
You got it.
All right, that sounds really good. That's interesting. So you're going to be private entity, or how's that going to work?
We are a private entity. The main thing we want to do is just keep doing what we're passionate about. So frankly, if we stay the same size and we can just travel and visit, promote our company at regional beer festivals, I'm happy. It's a success. But the plan is to keep it private. We've had some larger brewers reach out to us, but our full intent is to stay private and just to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, the longer you can stay private, the better.
It really is.
You go out in public, forget it. It's just a disaster. It's like all kinds of filings and scrutiny, and stay private's good.
I hear you.
All right, awesome. Hey, I appreciate you coming on and discussing the BeerYou app. And how do people get this app, or how would they get in touch with you if they want to talk to you?
Okay, so it's real simple. You can just go to BeerYou.com, and that's our website. It's just a pretty simple website. It'll show the different restaurants and chains that we are redeemable at. It'll also give you a direct link to download the app. We're fully functional in both iOS, which is Apple, as well as Android, which is everything that's not Apple. So just about every single device out there, our app is compatible with. So go to the store that you normally go to for your mobile apps. So for Android or iOS, and we're there. Just search us for BeerYou, and you'll find us there.
Yeah, interesting. Looks cool.
And by the way, so the BeerYou is BEER and then no space YOU. I think there's another app that has a space there that's completely different, but we're no space BeerYou.
That's what I did on Google. I put the space in, it didn't work. I'm like, well, where's that? There's got to be a website, but now you explained it, so it's one word.
Cool. You found it.
Comes up. Yep, I got it. All right. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming on, Tom, and I appreciate what you guys are doing. It's great to send beer to people, and it just, promotes. And I think eventually you'll be promoting instead of the bigger chains. I mean, it's a great way to start, but then you'll be getting into maybe the smaller restaurants and local things. And
right away. I mean, we're doing it locally here in the Bay Area, but that's where we want to be. We want to be plugged into the local brewers, to the local beer festivals, those sort of things. And that's where we're going to be.
Cool. All right, Tom, I appreciate your time today, and good luck with you on the app. I'll probably bump into you somewhere at some point.
Likewise.
And yeah.
Appreciate the time. I really like your program. Keep it up, and keep the passion. That's why we're in the business, and you guys are the ones that are making the great craft beer, and keep it up.
It's great stuff. Yeah. Thank you, Tom.
Okay, no problem.
All right,
Thanks a bunch,
care.
Michael.
Bye.
Okay, take care.
And that was Tom Middlen. He's the CEO of BeerYou, the new app for you to send beer to your friend. Doesn't matter where they are. Originally, they were targeting the U.S., but now apparently it's catching fire internationally. So it seems like a good thing. Why not send a gift? You don't know what to send them a beer, right? I think it's fantastic. So get the app. You could download it on App Store and Google Play, and start sending beers to your friends, and you can communicate on it. So it seems like a pretty cool app that Tom was discussing. And that is your podcast for today. That's BeerYou. And if you like what we're doing, please go on to iTunes. Give us a rating. Give us a review. Tell a friend. Tell 10 friends. Because we are here to give you this quality information, which you will find nowhere else. Well, you might find it somewhere else, but you found it here first. And that's what it is. It's the passion for beer, right? We were 360, right? You don't necessarily have to make beer to get on the podcast here. It's just beer related. And this is just another portion of that, and another way to get beer to people, good beer. And it's just, propelling forward. Craft beer is awesome. Share it. All right. That is our podcast for today. I appreciate you being here and listening. And we will talk to you on Wednesday. Take care.